Live from WTOC, the Southeast News leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
We'd like to welcome you all to The News on WTOC Plus. We start this morning with an alert for residents in Jasper County. The Sheriff's Office is conducting a search warrant at a home on Kyle Lane. That's off of Bees Creek Road. They're asking residents to avoid the area if possible to let deputies do their work. We'll keep you updated once that operation is complete. And staying in the low country, South Carolina Highway Patrol confirms one person is dead after a wrong-way crash late Tuesday night in Beaufort County. A South Carolina state trooper says the collision happened around 11:15 on State Highway 170 near Oldfield Way. According to reports, a 2019 Infiniti QX50 was driving in the wrong direction on the eastbound side of 170 when it crashed head-on with a 2009 Toyota sedan. The driver of the Toyota died at the scene. The driver of the Infiniti was injured and taken to a hospital in Savannah. Well, a vigil will take place tonight for Dr. Linda Davis. She's the teacher who was tragically killed after a DHS chase ended in a crash earlier this week. The vigil will be at 5 p.m. today at Hess K-8, where she taught on Whitfield Avenue, just a mile away from where she was hit and killed. The Savannah-Chatham County School Board met last night, opening with some emotional tributes to her. Everyone also stood for a moment of silence, as you just saw on your screen. The Department of Homeland Security says she was hit by a man trying to drive away from ICE agents. Well, Memorial Health in Savannah issued a safety alert to staff about a woman posing as a nurse. She attempted to get access to clinical areas at least twice. We have confirmed the hospital sent out a be on the lookout alert to its team members, which is part of the hospital's security protocol. The woman tried to access the maternity unit by telling staff it was her first day. She got into their emergency department last Friday by closely following another staff member through the door. The alert informs staff to call security if they see her again. Memorial representatives tell us they're thankful for their vigilant team members as their security continues to work on this, saying, quote, "We remain committed to maintaining a safe environment across our campus." And this isn't an isolated incident. It's affected us here at WTOC. That same woman tried to get into our studio last Thursday. We're showing you right now that security footage. You can see her in our front lobby calling into the newsroom multiple times. She told our coworkers she was here for an interview, but she gave us conflicting information after someone answered our phones who she said she was here to meet. She was then walked out by our staff. In international news, British police have arrested the brother of King Charles in their investigation into the sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Former Prince Andrew was taken into custody this morning. CBS's Tina Krause is following this from London.
The arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the younger brother of King Charles III, comes on Andrew's 66th birthday. The former prince, who was stripped of his royal titles late last year over his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, is now in custody on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Police arrested him at his home on one of the king's royal estates this morning, a few hours outside of London. They're now carrying out searches at 2 addresses in the area. They're also assessing reports the former royal sent sensitive trade reports to the billionaire pedophile back in 2010. Multiple police departments across the UK previously said they were reviewing ties between Andrew and Epstein, including allegations a woman was trafficked here to Britain by Epstein to have a sexual encounter with the king's brother. Andrew has always denied any wrongdoing in relation to Epstein, saying he regrets their friendship. The arrest of a member of the royal family is an extraordinary development, considered unprecedented in the modern history of the British monarchy. Tina Krause, CBS News, London.
Back here in the Peach State, President Donald Trump is making his way to Georgia this morning to talk about his economic agenda and weigh in on a key political race in the state. He's expected to be in Rome, Georgia today to go over affordability and the economy. It comes as District 14 is entering a special election. Trump has since endorsed Clay Fuller, the district attorney in the area, to fill Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat in Congress. And in the Palmetto State, former President Joe Biden, is set to visit South Carolina this month as state Democrats commemorate his 2020 Democratic primary victory in the state. It's set for February 27th in Columbia. He won nearly 49% of the vote and then carried every county in the Democratic race. The state was widely viewed as a turning point in the Democratic primaries, helping to push Biden into the Super Tuesday contests just days later. Well, a new form of betting is taking South Carolina and the nation by storm. It's called predictions markets, and it's forcing lawmakers to reconsider sports betting legislation. South Carolina State House reporter Stephen Biddix has the details.
Senators I spoke with say to taper your expectations. It's unlikely a sports betting bill gets passed this year, but next year could be a different story. That's because of prediction markets. They're federally legal, so South Carolinians can use them now. Here's the difference. A sports book sets fixed odds and takes a cut. Prediction markets let users trade directly with each other, and prices are dynamic. The bill receiving a hearing would allow up to 8 operators, and anyone over 18 years old could place bets. Steve Pettit with the Palmetto Family Alliance opposes it. He says gambling leads to addiction and is unnecessary. But bill sponsor Senator Tom Davis says people already bet illegally or leave the state to gamble, and regulations could be beneficial.
Betting and gambling is going to become ubiquitous. It's going to be everywhere, and it's going to be on everybody's phone. And suddenly we have no idea the tidal wave of what that could do.
The worst thing you can do in politics, though, is put your head in the sand and pretend something doesn't exist. The best thing you can do as a public official is to bring an issue out there, hear the pros and cons, debate the matter in public.
Caesar Sportsbook estimates South Carolina could make roughly $50 million in revenue annually from legalizing it. The subcommittee did not vote on the bill and say they will get back to it in the next few weeks, adding what they learned this year will help shape next year's policy. Reporting at the State House, I'm Stephen Biddix.
And back in Georgia, some lawmakers are taking aim at insurance costs. A quartet of new bills looks to bring sweeping changes and save residents money. State lawmakers look to build on momentum, beginning with the Georgia Insurance Affordability Act and Claims Integrity Act, known as House Bill 1344. One of the 4 discussed yesterday at the state capitol that lawmakers hope will make its way to the governor's desk. It calls for increasing fines in Georgia's insurance code, addressing timely claims, processing storms, and enhancing oversight and transparency by expanding the insurance commissioner's enforcement authority. It's part of a series of proposals looking to bring upon recent insurance reform, including last year's tort reform measures signed into law trying to curb lawsuit abuse. The Insurance Information Institute shared with our sister station that they see it as a big positive, pointing to several auto insurance filing rate reductions with more expected to follow through 2026. Adding to that, quote, legal system abuse costs every Georgian $1,544 per year in a tort tax.
Company putting money back into the pockets of their customers. I feel very confident that no state is doing more to drive down the cost of living, address affordability, and stabilize insurance rates than Georgia is doing right now.
Part of House Bill 1344 will also allow the commissioner to examine all available evidence when reviewing insurers' rate filings. The goal is to eliminate fraud on both sides as well as reduced costs for Georgians. Staying under the Gold Dome, Georgia lawmakers are trying to take action after the crash that's sparked some controversial conversations. A new bill states that drivers will be charged a mandatory 30-day sentence for each mile they drive away from State Patrol or the Department of Public Safety. It does not apply to federal law enforcement. Republican Representative Lauren McDonald is sponsoring it because she says this is an issue that's becoming more common. All right, well, a Georgia 8th grader is giving drivers a new way to show off their patriotism. You can now get this commemorative license plate honoring America's 250th birthday. It was designed by middle schooler Eden Pethel from Jackson County. Her design features red stars representing 7 key Georgia Revolutionary War sites.
It's really exciting. I love history, so I love getting to learn about the past, and I love that I'll be able to teach other Georgians about this. I've seen a few now, but we like to make it a game and say, oh, look, there's my tag.
The plate will be a standard option, meaning no additional cost, and will be available until 2030. Well, Live Oak Libraries will officially reopen the Carnegie Library as the Carnegie Library Heritage Center with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. It's taking place tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Originally opened in 1914 during segregation, the library was built with support from local African-American leaders and the Carnegie Corporation. It served as a vital resource and beacon of knowledge for Black Savannahans. After extensive restoration, the space now becomes a special collections library dedicated to preserving that powerful legacy. You should expect a ceremony and special performances as well by the Savannah State University Concert Choir. Again, that event is tomorrow at 10:30. In sports news, we're just days away from the start of baseball season. The first spring training game for the Atlanta Braves is this Saturday against the Rays, but there's still a lot of questions when it comes to the team's pitching staff. Just 2 weeks into spring training, the Braves are learning that 2 of their starting pitchers are heading to the injured list. Spencer Schwallenbach and Hurston Waldrop are now set to have similar elbow surgeries that'll keep both of them out for an extended amount of time. Now, the question everyone wants answered, is there a chance we see either of them pitch at all this season?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, we all hope for that, but just you never know how these things go. They don't have a timeline. It's too far out. So, with them both being on the 60-day, there's not a whole lot to talk about, yeah.
While many fans are pushing for the Braves to make a free agent signing, manager Walt Weiss says former All-Star pitcher Bryce Elder has looked confident in camp and is certainly an option to boost the rotation. And from the field to the track, we're just 2 days out from NASCAR's triple header at Echo Park Speedway. Following last year's rebrand, Echo Park underwent a major fan experience facelift. Fans will notice new green branding throughout the facility, updated signage, refreshed concourses, and a redesigned victory lane. Our Andrew Gordon had his new episode of Inside Lane come out, speaking with one of the winners from last year. You can watch that and listen to it right now on WTOC.com. And heading under the sea, the Georgia Aquarium has said goodbye to one of its most inspiring residents. Lorenzo the manatee has been released back into Florida's waters. Last June, Lorenzo was found stranded and extremely weak. He spent 8 months in Atlanta receiving care and rehab. Before his release, Lorenzo was fitted with a satellite tag to track his movements. And finally, here on WTOC+, Georgia's state bird is known as the brown thrasher, its state onion is the Vidalia, and its state flower is the Cherokee rose. But now, lawmakers are discussing a new state symbol. Justin Skinner with our sister station had the difficult task of going to a wing cafe to talk and test lemon pepper wings.
There's a state thing for everything. Georgia state amphibian, the green tree frog. State reptile, the gopher tortoise. So it should come as no surprise that lawmakers in Atlanta discussed naming lemon pepper Georgia's state chicken wing flavor.
Georgians like lemon pepper wings.
State Representative Eric Bell authored HB 1013, and a 6-person committee met at the Capitol to see if it tastes as good as it sounds.
It's one way to highlight Georgia's culinary culture and cuisine.
So I stopped by the Wing Cafe and Tap House in Marietta to speak with Assistant Manager Sarah Baker and try 4 versions of lemon pepper wings.
This is our dry lemon pepper. This is our regular wet lemon pepper right here. This would be our liger, which is our hot lemon pepper. And this right over here is our lemon gnocchi.
It did not disappoint.
Is it everything you thought it would be?
It's more than I thought it would be.
Okay, good.
Wings and lemon pepper flavoring have ingrained themselves in Atlanta culture, but how that got drummed up is a matter of who's talking.
People from Buffalo, because that's where the Buffalo wings started, moved down to Atlanta, and they started opening Taco Max in like the 70s.
By the 80s, J.R. Crickets had become an Atlanta anchor, popularizing lemon pepper in the South. The flavor is now a national mainstay, and one which Baker feels Georgia should lay claim to.
I absolutely agree. I think everybody should agree.
But leave it to humans to argue about anything. A federal judge in Illinois ruled against a fraud lawsuit, get this, in which a man claimed Buffalo Wild Wings' boneless wings are just chicken nuggets.
That's fine.
Lemon pepper? Well, there's more meat on that bone. because taste buds shouldn't be divisive.
Lemon pepper is something that we all can get along with.
In Marietta, Joshua Skinner, Atlanta News First.
All right, this might be a controversial statement. I'm a bit more of a chicken tender guy. I go to Zaxby's quite a bit. That's kind of one of my go-tos. All right. With that, we're going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus. Thanks for making us part of your morning. We'll be back in about 45 minutes at the top of the hour for the news at noon. And you can always head on over to our website in the meantime to check the latest updates. And we're going to go ahead and send it over to Local News Live.